Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some
None
fun.
of my stands were tall enough to get up here to support this outside, so I just got a piece of 1/4 inch and clamped it to the vise itself. Now we are a 1/4 inch higher, but out here at 26 inches, that's not going to make a huge amount of difference. So what we want to do is we definitely want to make sure we're level though. Okay. Snug it down, and I think we're ready to get started. So we're going to go around this entire loop. Well, I can see that the weld's going to get in the way, so what I'm going to do is just hand file the contact, the outside contact of the weld. Let's just see what we can do with that. Okay, let's try it again. All right, well, I almost did it again. I have pulled, this is the 3rd hoop that I've made, and I have forgotten to film each one of them. And I'm, about a 1/4 way through this one already, and I didn't film it. So we're going to film this process so that you can see how I made the, well, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th hoop that I've made. And so let's film it. We're going to fast forward it so it's not too noisy and too boring. All right, but I've got to put a set of headphones on because this thing is noisy. What did I do with my headphones? All right, so now we cut this thing, and we do have 26.5 inches, so we don't have to worry about bending it in or bending it out. And I just cut it straight in half. Yes, there is a bit of waste, but at the same time, who cares? It's I get the hoop I want, and I've wasted a couple of feet of material. Cut them at exactly half, and they'll fit together like a glove. All right, so now let's face you down a little bit, something like that. Now all we have to do is just kind of bring it in and bend it until it matches up. And usually I'm dealing with 065 wall, and it turned out that nobody in town had 065 wall, so now I'm dealing with 091, which is a little bit stronger. So we keep fighting it until we get there. Boy, we might need a couple of people on this one. It's getting there. Closer. I mean, we could fake it and just set it up there, but I'm afraid of that spring tension, because we're going to be cutting a groove in the top of this, and I don't want any spring tension. So we're going to keep fighting it here. Almost there. Very close. That's pretty good. All right, we'll be welding that together. All right, well, let's see. Can we hold it and weld it at the same time? I don't think so. We tried earlier and it didn't really actually work. How did we do that? Maybe I go get a bar clamp. Uh-oh, and you're getting a view of the secret project. Ooh, watch out. So, yeah, there it is. 30 of them. But let's see what we can do about making this shimmying up on this a little bit. That looks pretty good. All right, we'll set that down for right now. Let's get our welder on. Get our helmet on. How about a glove or two? All right, just one. Now all we're trying to do is tack this. Something like that. let's take another measurement. Make sure where we want to be. We are at 26.5 on the money. Take this apart, go put this away. Okay. Nice and even. We got just a little bit of a gap in there, which is good, because I want to be able to fill it rather than have it pile up. And speaking of filling, let's go. Get my helmet on. It's a beautiful thing. I think we're all set. Now we're going to have Todd come in and later on this morning he's going to cut that top groove in while I do other things. And that said, we're going to come back after a while. Okay, well, you know, at some point or another, I realized that if I weld this leg to this hoop and bolt it to there, if I ever needed to take off the screen, that was going to be in the way. So that's not good. So I think what I'm going to do, and we're going to use that, this is 065 wall, which is pretty thin, and the other is 091 wall, which is a little bit thicker. I think what I'm going to do is take that 091 wall, once I cut this top groove in it, and attach that to my, and I'll take this off, to my post here with a little, kind of a little clip that is rounded and has two holes in it, so I can just bolt the clip to the bottom of the hoop, and that way unbolt it there. And all right, let's just we've cut a couple of small pieces here. We're going to kind of just trim them up and make them look nice. Alright, well, we're cutting our expanded metal to size, and then later on today we're going to loop it into the hoops and see how it's going to fit. So we're gonna cut. So I could have cut this with the grinder, but I would have ended up with these little razor sharp edges. As it is, I have this kind of nice rounded edge where it burnt it off, and so I'm not going to catch myself on this at all. So now what we want to do is we're going to take the measurement of the hoop, multiply it by 3.14, cut it, maybe 3 or 4 inches long, and then we'll be able to get rid of some of the weight. So our measurement is 27 3/4, let's say 28 times 3.14. There's 88 inches right there. We've got another 6 inches or so. We're just going to leave it like it is. Okay, for this part, that's done, at least until I get a couple of other team members in here to help me lace it into that hoop and the other hoop, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so the next part of our job here is to revamp this whole mess, because we had a bolt down here, and now we're going to rotate this around and put a bolt in here, and we're going to put that bolt in after we put the resin inside of the tube. But you know what I think we need to do first, because we have to let these tubes dry out, is we're going to take a tube and fill it full of water and see how much water it holds, and then dump it out and measure the amount of water, because we need to pour resin in there in order to bind the screen into the socket. So we're going to do, while we're outside at the only faucet in my whole system, which is just fine, and we're going to fill our tube up with water. Alright, that's about right. It's a little low on this side, but I think it's going to match out pretty well. So what we need to do is we need to get a big pan, which we have right here, and spill what we've got into the pan. Without destroying the whole thing. That looks pretty good. Now we lost a bit of it, but what do we got? Almost a quart. So I think we're going to have enough. Let's pour this into here and add just a little bit of spillage. And let's go back in. Okay, well, I had a 25 fluid ounce bottle here, and I filled it exactly full. So to do 2 of these, we're going to use 50 fluid ounces, and that's pretty much what we need. Back to the legs. We're going to we're just going to get rid of that bolt because it is really not going to work. I want to get this bolstered up so that I can take this whole thing apart and not have it fall on me. That's a good start. A little bit high. Ah, too high. Okay. Some little small ones. That's too high. Something. Almost. Yeah, it'll probably work. Let's see what we can do. So now what I want to do is take this and remove it and take this out completely. And we want to take this bottom tab off because it's not needed anymore. And hopefully this will go right there and come right up to there, and it's not long enough. Another, oh man, another 1/4 inch. But, and also this is at a bit of an angle. So let's just cut ourselves a new piece. That's it right there. And we're going to add about 3/8. Alright. We'll be back. Well, we got one cut as a test piece, so now we want to cut 2 more that are going to be the same size and the same cut. Spring fever. Okay, there's that. Here's this. This is where we're going to go to. Right about there. Let's make sure. Yep, looks good. All right, we drop it in. Well, maybe we just cut it first. Cut it on the bandsaw. Probably a better idea. We'll come back. All right, let's make our cut. Make sure that we're on the right, facing the right direction. Drop it in. Square it up. And we're ready to rip. make sure. Looks good. And then we want to cut this end off. And we'll be back. Okay, let's take this one apart and get it revamped. Get rid of that. Bring this into play. Angles are right. What do we got here? Right at 6 inches. Okay, let's just do a tack. Rotate it just a bit, so we're going to rotate it back. Yeah. Right there. And just a quick tack. Go. Nice. Do the next one. Right there. Looks good. And how's this other one doing? It needs to kind of get tapped over. There we go. That's that for that. Okay, so now I think what I want to do is go ahead and put a second tack in those. Just all right, good. Now I've learned from experience that when you're shooting from the hip like this, nothing gets welded in solid, because sure as hell going to tear it back out and try to figure out something else. So we're good. We're not going to weld this on because we're going to put these little sleeves underneath like that, and then put a bolt in all three of them. So just kick them up there. So now we're waiting to get a helper in here, and we're going to put the screen inside of this and bring it up here and put the screen inside of that, and then cut the screen to length. And I think we're also going to come in and maybe on 3 sides, maybe 6 sides, I'm not sure yet, and just put some support. Weld a little piece from here to the top, maybe 1/2 inch wide or something like that. Nothing major, but just enough to kind of give everything a little bit of support so that it doesn't get all wiggly when things start getting wiggly. And we will be back. All right, well, I'm going to give it a try. Just see if I can feed this thing in. I'm guessing that I'm not going to be able to. But hey, everything's worth a try. And I think what I'm going to do is put a couple screws in that on that hoop and get that thing down good and solid. Okay, let's give it a try. See what we can do here. Come in about like this. It's too much. I mean, it'll work, but it's going to take 2 or 3 guys to get this thing maneuvered around. So for now, we'll just leave that hang, and we'll go back to doing other stuff. I don't know. It was such a tussle getting this this screen to fit inside of those two hoops that I couldn't film it. I mean, it was all I could do just to get the damn thing together. But it's together, and I'm not sure what we're going to do from here, but we've got to get the gap back in here dealt with, which I think is going to be okay. We're going to figure out a way of dealing with that, and then we'll figure out how to get the screen to make contact with the hoops. And I was going to pour resin in there, but there's just not enough room to pour. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go in and tack weld each one of the connectors all the way around. I mean, it's going to take forever, but at the same time, it'll be a good weld, and hey, do what you can do, right? Okay, we will be back.